Friendship supreme. Friendship supreme. Finding the geek within.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of
Friendship Supreme.
I'm Michael.
This is Cleve.
And we're the podcast that dares to ask, does Spider-Man exist in our hearts if he doesn't exist in the MCU?
It's a tough question.
Tough question. So, as most of you have probably heard, and the scuttlebutt around the water tank.
Yeah. Where were you when you heard?
Yeah.
Like,
Sony and Disney are breaking up, and Sony is taking back the rights to Spider-Man, and will no longer allow him to be in the MCU universe.
yep. So all of the I'm going to be the next Iron Man or Iron Man's replacement is now dead.
Yeah, I just saw Far From Home, and like it hit. There's a lot in there, and I saw it post announcement. So there's a lot of like scenes in there that are very much you're in the MCU, and you could very well be like the lead.
Yep.
And that is tanking quickly.
It's tough for him. I think about everybody, but I imagine how Tom Holland feels.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he still feels a lot of support because everybody seems to be still like very much pro Spider-Man. They're just anti-Sony or anti-Disney.
And apparently that he's still going to play. I think Sony's still going to use him.
Yes, very much. He still has a contract with them, and they still intend on using him. And he gave a rousing speech of essentially, yes, you know, I don't know where the future holds, but essentially, I am going to continue being Spider-Man. I've had an amazing last 5 years. I love every second of it, and I look forward to continuing to do this as long as I can. So,
You know, I heard Kevin Feige talking, and he was like, you know what? I got to use Spider-Man in 5 movies. He was like, that's more than I ever thought I was going to get the opportunity for. I'm happy for that.
yeah.
And I think if they could have used Far From Home knowing the knowledge that they weren't going to continue, it could have been a clean cut. But because we have the way Far From Home went and then end, it's hard to see where they're going to go at this point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So some of the details or the numbers on it is essentially, from what we understand, the research that I, Cleve, and Stephanie have all done, is that essentially at the beginning, Disney was fronting all the cost for making the movie and would earn 5% of initial premiere,
Like opening weekend?
opening week, basically. They gained 5% of the profits from opening week for it. After Far From Home came out, they wanted to renegotiate their deal, and originally it was announced or reported that they wanted 50% of, so they wanted to split half and half on the cost on making the movie, as well as get 50% of the movie's earnings. Since then, I've seen other reports that have said it was actually 30% that they were asking for, which, while it seems like, oh, that's silly to argue between 50 and 30%, I actually feel like 30% seems like a reasonable cost. A reasonable
when you're
amount.
talking in the millions and millions that they're earning, yeah, I mean, it's a big difference in percentage.
Well, and you're not talking about, it's not like we're splitting majority. We're not, I mean, you are still getting, and Sony is still getting a majority of it because they still own Spider-Man. Disney just happens to want a little bit more money, and I get it. Everybody says, oh, Disney's money grabbing, blah, blah, blah. But if you think about it, Disney also put up a lot of money to produce these 2 films. So, I don't know. I kind of see the justification behind it. I'm not really, haven't taken a side on it. I kind of, for selfish personal reasons, would like Spider-Man to stay in the MCU. Because I happen to not care for Spider-Man much as a character, and within the last probably 5 or 6 years have actually enjoyed Tom Holland.
He plays it really well.
Yeah, and I've liked the direction Kevin Feige's taken it all in. So, I don't know. Thoughts from a residential Spider-Man fan?
You know, at first I was like, oh my god, Sony, just stop being... You're not doing any of the work, and you're getting all the reward. At the same time, it almost feels nice that someone's standing up to Disney, because nobody stands up to Disney.
You're not wrong.
It's nice to see somebody go, you know what? You can't just have whatever you want. How about that? But I mean, at this point, Buy Sony. You buy everybody else. Buy Sony. Solve the problem.
There's been speculation that they might try make a pass for trying to buy out Sony. You have to wonder if it's because Sony was tanking. I mean, what other properties do they currently have that have done well?
I mean, they only have Spider-Man. I don't think they have anybody else.
They don't. Well, I didn't mean necessarily just in the Marvel community. I mean in general. Right. When's the last time you were like, oh, that Sony film was super good?
Yeah.
It's not. And so you have to wonder if they're like, oh, this is our breadwinner, and we kind of feel it's slipping away from us. So,
Yeah, I mean, you mean besides the PlayStation franchise?
Well, right, but their gaming industry is different than...
Yeah, but it's revenue for the main company.
I mean, Disney's gaming industry is terrible, so...
They have the Emoji Movie.
Thank God.
Or the Smurfs.
Points made.
Right.
Points made.
So,
Angry Birds?
I go back and forth because if I'm doing all the work, should I make the most money? Yes.
Yeah. They're not even asking for the most money, though.
Right.
I mean, you're getting... Sorry, I don't mean to keep
should you make an even amount of money of me when I own it? You know what I mean? Like, I go back and forth on who...
You know, you're using the Marvel Studios resources. You're using Disney's resources. So you're getting Lucasfilm as far as, like, their studios. Mm-hmm. You're getting Marvel Studios. You're getting the creme de la creme of editing, of video, of... I mean... I don't know that we could get... and I didn't see any of them, so I will admit. But the Amazing Spider-Man series, do you think that would have been as successful had it continued on from 2?
I mean...
Was 2 successful?
Not really.
So...
They do the same thing they always do, where they get real convoluted in all the people that they have, and they're trying to put on the screen, and they end up losing track of what they're doing.
And I feel like they don't do that with Disney, because like Disney, it was very much, here's Vulture, here's... This most recent one was Mysterio.
Yeah. And you know what? I feel like Kevin Feige, I respect him because he was giving Fox advice on what to do with the X-Men.
Yeah.
They didn't listen. But he cares about the characters enough to... I dare to say, I think he would be the next generation of, like, the Stanley, like... layout, and this is the way I see it, and this is the way the future should be out, and how Stanley was with comics, this is how I feel like he is with movies.
So bringing up Stanley brings up another viewpoint, or a lot of people have been talking about and have been saying that it's kind of a weight against Disney, is that lately Stanley's daughter came out and said that essentially Disney never cared, treated her father like crap. Disney didn't care, Marvel didn't care, and then after he passed away, nobody to this date has bothered, which is almost a year now. It's almost a year. Nobody has bothered to even reach out to her to say, hey, condolences, here's some flowers, let us know if you need anything. Nothing. And so does that weigh on if Marvel should have rights to Spider-Man or not? And
which is arguably his most beloved character.
Right. And I don't know. I don't know enough about Stanley's family to really know, like, oh, him and his daughter were super close, or were they not? I don't know.
Right.
In addition, maybe they took really good care of Stanley. She just happened to not be around during those times, or maybe they did reach out to her and she just didn't feel it was sufficient enough.
I've, as we record this, have not heard anybody's response to it.
Well, and Disney's very calculated, so Disney's not going to respond until they have a definitive response. And I'm sure it'll be something along the lines of, hey, we did reach out to Stanley's people. We waited an appropriate amount of time and just wanted to, Stanley's people, we basically reached out to them, his publicist or whatever, and said, hey, let us know if the family needs anything. And then they'll say it was because it was out of respect for his family not wanting to talk to him.
And they say that, but they've also put out in movies like these memorials of him. And I don't think, those aren't essential to the movie. They didn't have to do that. So that, to me, feels like
it's a tribute to him.
Yeah.
I think that, look, Do I think Disney's money grabbing? Yes. I've said it a million times on this show. I will continue to say it. Do I think they put out a damn good product? Yes. There's not a time that Disney's not done something. Within the last probably 15 years, there's not something that Disney hasn't produced that I haven't been like, man, that was really well done, even if I don't care for it. It comes down to what is more important. And you know what? I kind of get why they are money grabbing. Like, they are just feeding the giant monster that they've created. But in fairness, we enjoy and benefit and take part in almost everything that they're doing. I go to the parks. I buy the movies. I buy the merch. Like,
you know, I just don't know if the head of the snake is on my side or not there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, I mean, I don't think they are.
For the people at top, do they really give a crap about what they put out, or are they just like, hey, we need to hit this deadline?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. There's not a doubt in my mind that the heads of Disney are 100% only concerned about how to get your dollar. However, there are people out there like Jon Favreau, Kevin Feige, Waika, who just did Ragnarok. All of these producers, the Russo brothers, these people genuinely care.
Breathe it. Yeah.
Love it. I mean, those are the types of people you want. And while, yes, there's always going to be the people at the top that are always going to want every dime out of you, there's going to be those people that care. And and unfortunately, or fortunately, in whatever way you look at it, those people are currently on Team Disney. And that's where we should be putting our IPs to. I think it's the best possibility or best chance for Spider-Man to thrive in this universe. Otherwise, we're going to have DC characters all over again.
Yeah. I don't know. I hear people keep calling it the Venom verse, and I'm like, can it be a verse if it's been one movie? Right. Like, I know they announced two, but I don't know if you saw that one, but it wasn't that great.
I haven't heard great things. Heard Carnage was terrible, or whatever reference to Carnage was terrible.
Yeah, it was.
Cletus is a fantastic character, and I feel like if they don't do him right, it'll be kind of sad.
You know who's playing him? So far in the movie? Woody Harrelson.
That actually feels right. That feels good. No, I
can see him being crazy.
You know who else? The guy, he was in Prison Break, and I cannot think of his name. Weasley-looking character.
Do you want me to Google Weasley-looking Prison Break character?
Yeah, do it. See if he comes up. I'll bet he does. God, he's in a movie that you and I have watched. He's so Weasley looking.
Steve Buscemi.
No, he is a Weasley too. Similar.
Michael Schofield?
Let me see. Oh, it's gonna be him. What was he in recently that we've seen? Theodore T. Bagwell. Where's your IMDb?
I'm done looking.
Robert Knepper. What'd you say?
I'm done looking.
Oh, look how adorable they are.
Forget it. He got married.
Ooh. He would play a good one.
No, I recognize him.
So Woody Harrelson. No, I think that's a good play. But yeah, so I don't know. Will he thrive in a Sony universe? I don't think so.
It's tough when...
Huh?
I was moving the chair.
Me?
No, I was.
Oh.
It's tough when his whole existence has been geared to...
Yeah, how do you suddenly go to a universe in which they don't exist?
And you know what? Honestly, Spider-Man characters are good enough to where they should be standing by themselves and not inspired by this whole universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, everyone's a product of what somebody else did. And nobody is suffering from that more than Spider-Man. He shouldn't be the step into the shoes of Iron Man, in my opinion. He should be the... Nope, I'm Spider-Man. This is what I do. And honestly, they could have ended Far From Home with, hey guys, I think I need to take a break from the Avengers. You know, this has been great. I love you guys, but I need to define myself and do my own thing. And then, boom, never mention the MCU again.
Well, even in the comics, he's very much like distant from the Avengers. Like he's a part of them, but occasionally he takes breaks because he's like, I'm a neighborhood Spider-Man. Right. I want to be that. Yeah, I don't know. You think that they're going to resolve it?
I think they want to. I think, you know what? I think Disney is in the desperate seat, and they're not typically in that spot. So I'm excited to see them squirm a little bit.
Agreed.
Typically, they throw a stack of cash at your face and tell you shut up, and you do.
I would.
You know, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, nobody else can stand up to them.
Yeah.
So
Weirdly, I feel like Sony doesn't have much of a leg to stand on, but they're trying.
You know what I got? What you want?
Yeah, that's true.
Supply and demand.
You're not wrong. Yeah. Well, I personally am hoping that they do. And I understand where Clee's coming from as far as them standing on their own. And I think that the only way they may do that is if he goes to Sony. So perhaps that might be the best case scenario for the true Spider-Man fans out there.
And you know what? This opens live action Spider-Verse.
Which I feel like they've talked about.
Yeah. We bring back old ass Toby. We bring Andrew Garfield. We bring him out. We bring in everybody, and you can easily because Tom's on their side now.
Yeah.
Even though Tom still has some Disney work with the new Pixar movie and stuff.
Homebound or
Onward?
Onward. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. Either way, I think that hopefully the fans win. I think that's my biggest concern is that if he separates from Disney, I believe that it will fail again.
Yeah, it's hard not to. Even that's what I'm saying. Even Venom was like enough.
Especially going into our third film, we know what happens on the third film.
Yeah, we'll see. Mm-hmm. That was the best representation of it ever.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's what I'm here for, guys.
Well, before we move on, we have some news recap. I had a fan theory of what movies I thought were going to be when.
Oh, yeah.
And we've announced some movie dates. So let's see where I was. So, my guesses were that Spider-Man would be on 7/15/19. I nailed that one. I put Black Panther at 5/1/20. It's actually been announced to be 5/6/22.
Oh, pushed back.
Yeah, productions. Eternals, I guessed 11/6/20, and I nailed that one, and it feels good.
I should have it on the screen, the ones that he got right.
Oh, it's not a lot.
Oh,
Doctor Strange, I said 2/12/21. He is actually going to be 5/7/21, so he's going to be the main summer movie.
Good. Interesting choice.
Black Widow, I said 5/7/21, and it's actually 5/1/20. Shang-Chi, I put 11/5/21, and it is 2/12/21, so he's going to get that Black Panther-ish first showing section. Thor, which I didn't mention at all, is going to be 11/5/21. I had
Because who could have guessed that Thor was getting a fourth film?
I had picked that one for the Black Widow showing. Or no, sorry. The Shang-Chi showing. Yeah, and then Blade, which I didn't see coming at all. But having said that, Fantastic Four, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and... Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I was wrong, because we gave that spot to Black Panther. But Fantastic Four and Howard the Duck could still happen. So,
Do we think that... Oh, no, because Sony, Disney straight up bought Fox. Never mind. I was saying, do we think that this suddenly puts power in Fox's corner, where they could be like...
oh no, they tapped out way long ago. Now they just have terrible news. Yes, I did.
You could have gotten every single one right, but Howard the Duck, or wrong, but Howard the Duck right, and I'd be majorly
That's what I'm
impressed.
rolling the dice on.
That's why he said it still could happen. Howard the Duck.
Go ahead.
Parts of me hope you're wrong, and
Just-
other parts hope you're right.
Just a recap for the episode.
Did you ever watch the original Howard the Duck?
Yeah.
It was a real ghost dog situation.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's a product of its time.
No, it wasn't even a product of its time.
Yeah, it was. Everybody was doing stuff with ducks. You don't know.
I just hope you're right because it's so ridiculous that if your stupid theory works out to where you're right about Howard the Duck, it's just stupid.
Well, you're stupid, so.
Hey guys, it's Michael. Today's episode was going to be a two-parter, and the second topic ends up getting a little more mature as far as the topic, and was a little bit more sombering, so we thought it'd be more appropriate to go ahead and split it off into two different episodes that we'll both be posting today, but we just wanted to make sure that for anybody that was not wanting such a heavy topic, maybe we would split it off. So hopefully you guys enjoyed our episode about the Spider-Verse and where Spider-Man's going to be in the future. And if you guys want, make sure to check out our other episode we're posting today. It's about video game violence and some issues they may be having. Check it out if you guys want. If not, we totally understand. Please feel free to drop a like down below and subscribe and let us know what else you guys want to hear about. And this has been Michael, and this is where Cleve would be like, "This is Cleve," and then he'd say something along the lines of "Excelsior," or "With great powers comes great responsibility." But yeah, catch you later. Bye.